Doesn't sound like your family was swimming in cash.
No. We're swimming in ramen noodles.
Fabric, we've got the color theme staying the same. And that's a wrap. Yeah. You gotta go. You wanna grab that? Shit. There's a tornado happening in the middle of our... So, we're quick thinkers here at Wheels and Wealth. We know how to think on our feet, and apparently we had some type of a passing tornado, it seemed like. So we had to pull the car indoors. Actually, we didn't have to do it. As Bill said, we could have just hopped in and been fine because I'm sure this thing wasn't budging. But that wind picked up and some rain started to come, so we decided to pick up the segment indoors. But as you're over there, I want you to come around really quickly, right? Before we even pick up with the interior. You're not getting that in 2023. You mind if I do that again?
No, go ahead.
All
You're not gonna hurt
it. Look at just look at the line on this door, right? Look how beautiful that is, and then it drops, and then the line goes across the entire car. That thing is incredible. You couldn't make this up. It's beautiful, right? So let's take a look at the interior. I love that. God, it sounds so good. So, talk to me about this interior.
Yeah, so these are embossed flames on the door panels that match the outside.
Okay.
Some wood grain features in the dashboard, touchscreen.
We'll go around on the other side and get it, but look at the leather, right? And it took me a moment to notice this, but the color scheme from the fabric, the turquoise piping. What would your advice be to, as you put it earlier, the person that's working for you today and that's seeing the difference between being an employee and being a business owner, and they're seeing, as you put it, the inequity there, and the math is not mathing correctly for them?
Yeah.
What's your advice? I would ask you to give 3 points that you would give, or 3 key pieces of advice that you would give to that person. I'm not kidding, but I'm figuratively speaking that they're working under you. But that person who sees that inequity and they're saying, hey, I could do this at the owner level and 10x, 20x my income, my equity, and do these things. They want to start the next axis in their own lane. What does that look like? What do they need to be focused on right now?
Well, I think first of all, you have to develop yourself to a point where you're better than everyone around you at what you do.
Okay.
And if you're not, then why the inequity I talked to you about?
Yeah.
Wasn't the fact that the guy was making more money than me.
Right. It was his company. That's.
It was just his company.
Yeah.
But I was doing everything.
Got it.
Not just swinging a hammer kind of thing. So I think, point one is you got to believe in yourself enough to invest in yourself to be better than everyone around you, man.
How do they do that? Because I didn't give you the what's the word I'm looking for? I didn't give you the preface to this conversation.
Yeah.
Which is on Wheels and Wealth. We dig in. So we can't leave that at believe in yourself.
Okay.
Go for it. So enough to invest in yourself. In what way? What are you investing in yourself in construction management? What are we doing?
Well, I'll give you for instance. For me, I had a really nice job. I had security. I had a wife who was 6 months pregnant with our first child, and I quit the job. And I went and started my own business. So, but before I did that, I was preparing myself for that years before.
How?
So mentor under somebody that's doing it. The best plan I can tell you is find someone who's done what you want to do and look at the blueprint. The Earth's 4.6 billion years old. I'm sure you're not doing anything that's new. Find someone who's done it and really, the best advice I ever got from business was from Brooke Gardner. He said, you learned everything you need to know about business from your mother. right? Say please, say thank you, be grateful. Do the things that you say you're going to do. Show up on time, call people back, charge a fair price. You know, those type of things, they never go out of style. So, but, you know, I guess to answer your question more specifically, it really depends on the individual and what you want to do, right?
Construction.
So if you want to be in construction management right now, I would tell you right now to go, you know, get yourself a degree in construction management.
Okay. Do you have one?
Start mentoring under somebody who's done what you want to do, right? So as a project manager, a senior level project manager, somebody who's going to take you under their wing and teach you that stuff. If you want to be in construction management, I would say you have to be a superintendent at some point in your life. You have to be where the rubber meets the road. You have to be in the field, seeing how everything goes together, seeing how all of the other various trades are orchestrated in sequence that makes sense with logic. There's no shortcut to that. So you can get a college degree, and you know you can come out and you'll have your $90,000 in debt, and if you haven't spent any discernible amount of time on a construction site, I'm not hiring you. So, and that's.
So get a degree in construction management. Become a mentee, preferably under someone.
By the way, anything you want to do.
Yes.
Anything you want to do. Find someone who you admire, who you look up to, has done it, and I don't care how they got there. That's not your biography, but you find out you get what you need from them. Be a sponge. You know, I was a sponge. I was a complete sponge. I still am. I learn from everybody. You know, now we buy buildings, and I'll talk to the janitor about what we use on the floor products and how we clean the marble and what we do things. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I want to know these things. But, you know, I think and be singularly focused. Unfortunately, there's probably, 8 to 10 years of my life I don't remember. I just don't. I mean, business was everything. Growing this business, creating what we created was everything to me. So I remember standing in the kitchen, and I'm not prescribing this as a methodology to do this, but back then we had BlackBerrys, and I remember being in my kitchen, and my son was really small, and I don't know what he was telling me. He was telling me about his day or whatever, and I'm tapping away on this thing, and he just turned and walked away from me.
Wow.
So I was like...
You were saying that.
That was the moment I realized you can't live a normal life and be an entrepreneur. You don't have that structured sort of, I'm going to work 8 hours and come home.
Not in the beginning.
No, not in the beginning. Now it's obviously it's way different now. But there's still a lot of entrepreneurs out there that are good at their business, but maybe not good at their trade or their craft or whatever they're doing, but maybe not good at managing their time or managing business's infrastructure enough that gives them a normal life, right? So you teach people how to treat you. If someone calls you at 9 o'clock at night and you answer the phone and you have a business discussion with them, you just taught them that it's okay to call you at 9 o'clock. And so it took me a long time to realize those things and to be a little bit more selfish with my own time. So, but that was a turning moment for me with my son. That was, what am I doing? So I started to think about my business differently. I started to think about how do I build an infrastructure and a team that didn't require constant maintenance from me and didn't require every decision being bottlenecked at my doorstep. It comes with great people. You have to hire great people, surround yourself with good people. And I like to think that that's my number one talent. I'd surround myself with people that are better than me. If I'm paying everybody in the room, I better be the dumbest guy there.
Look at the ass on this, man. This thing has got a big butt.
Yeah.
And it's gorgeous. Look at that. My God.
It's a really unique car. I mean, you don't see a lot of these, and you don't see a lot of them done right. No trunk, they're hidden, right? So,
Oh, wow. That's super dope.
right?
So we come around here, and I mean, I've got to get in.
You should get in it. This car fits you nice.
Pretend like it's mine for a second, but all right. So I'm in the cockpit, and we've got just, it's simple but beautiful. The wood grain, I mean, the dash, the wood grain dash, the gauges even tastefully done. The gauges look like IWC timepieces.
Yeah. It's similar to like a Rolls-Royce style interior, you know.
Yeah, it's
with the wood
gorgeous, man.
grains.
And this is the door. This is the door.
The door
latch.
handles, yeah.
The door handle, yeah. So. This is amazing. Automatic windows.
Power windows, power steering, four-wheel disc brakes, air conditioning, Bluetooth connection.
The entire headliner is fabric.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. The door sill is just everything. It just has a perfect mix of just rugged, classic, custom, modern. It's like a perfect resto mod. It's beautiful, man. So how hands-on is a president and founder at this stage of the game when you're 20 plus years in on your company, you're clocking, $50 to $60 million a year. The company is doing that. That, by the way, I'm firing these things off at you like this. Someone who is looking to get into construction management and is doing something similar, in similar type of numbers, what's the word I'm looking for? What kind of percentages are would they be looking at in terms of, okay, obviously that full 50 to 60 million doesn't go into the founder's pocket.
Yeah. They sound like great numbers. so it costs a lot to do construction. So, the industry standard is 4 to 6%, Okay. So if you're netting out that kind of numbers on the back end of things, after, partnership draws and guaranteed payments and payrolls met, and that's a triple, if that's your net, then you're doing something right.
Awesome. Okay.
But, it's an expensive business, and there's a lot of variables. There's a lot of risk in our business. So, you could have a job that looks great for the first, 70% of the job, and then the last 30% of the job, you could be behind schedule, and you have to run overtime, and you have to, that could be a lost leader when you're finished.
Got it.
But, all that speaks to the sort of putting the team together, putting the infrastructure together, that type of stuff. So that's the second half of my business career that there was a different chapter. Chapter one was just building the thing and getting it to be a viable operating company. And then, after that was making it so that I could have a normal life.
What's really interesting. Actually, I'm going to double back to that. I want you to answer my previous question. I fired off a couple at you at once. Okay. So, how hands-on is a president and founder at this stage of the game?
It's hard for me not to be hands-on if I'm there, right?
You're picking up tools. And
no, not the hands-on, not hands-on. No. No, I mean, I would. I love the trade.
Okay.
But no. Nobody in my organization, very, very few people in my organization pick up tools. So we're a construction management firm, which means that all the categories of work are subcontracted out to other firms.
Okay.
And we orchestrate the process. We work with the owners from pre-construction through punch list stage. So, we have a warranty and punch list division where people go around and fix stuff, but otherwise, no. Everything is subcontracted out.
Got it. So you're managing the project at that point.
Yeah, and that's the typical model of a construction management firm.
Okay.
General contractor is different. A general contractor may have tradesmen in his employ or in their employ, and then you have construction management firms, which is what we are, where we subcontract all the aspects of the construction out.
Gotcha. So it's so interesting. There's a school of thought that says, hey, I don't want any partners, And that's my strength, is that I don't have to, check with anyone to come to an agreement on something, and they believe having the strength is not having any partners.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hearing a vastly different point of view from you, because it sounds like a partnership is everything.
Sure. I mean, look, if I, I've heard the term partners are for dancing. I've heard all of the, and I get, if that works for you, that's great. I take an analytical approach to a lot of different problem solves, to do some problem solving, and I love to have anybody's input in the room that I trust and respect. So if I have 25 or 30 years of experience at something, but now I have two partners who have that, I have 60 to 75 years of experience, different and diverse experience.
Yeah.
So I don't, to me, I've always found a tremendous amount of value in that kind of input. And also, not just having them as employees, that's one way to get it.
Right.
But, when you have somebody that has a vested interest in the collective success of the group, that's a partner. And I don't think you can get that kind of buy-in from an employee.
Wow.
So, and my partner, I've had the same business partner for 20-something years now. So, but many other partners in real estate, where we do partnerships on a deal-by-deal basis, but only with people that I trust and respect and people that bring value add. A good partnership test is this, right? A lot of times people take partners because they don't want to part with money now.
Okay.
Right? So instead of paying somebody a certain amount of money, you'll offer them equity. To me, I always said, if I can't look across the table and see the same value in 5 years, I'd rather pay for it now.
Wow.
Right? So
that's a big one.
But that'll get it done for you. Right? So if you can buy it right now and that value doesn't exist in 5 years, you only paid for it once. But if it's not something that you can buy right now, and you're going to see the same value in 5 years, it's something that's going to pay you dividends forever. That's the kind of partnership I've had with my partner. He's great at what he does. We used to, come into the office together, get our days in line, and he would go his way and I would go my way, and we never stepped on each other's toes. He did what he did. He brought his value to the business, and I brought my value to the business.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great stories, a lot of great partnership stories. You only hear, unfortunately, the disasters are the only sexy ones, right? You only hear those stories. People tell you those stories, but there's a tremendous amount of stories out there of great, harmonious partnerships, and I value them. So, so much so that we're turning my company into quasi ESOP, if you will. So.
When did you get into cars?
Oh wow, so young. My brother and he had a '72 Mach 1, and I had a '71. Oh no, I'm sorry. I had a '72. He had a '73. He had a 351 Windsor in his. I had a 351 Cleveland in mine.
Okay. And just so you know, I have no idea what that means.
All right. Well, I'll just keep talking to them.
No, please don't. What is that? The engine?
They're the engines
gotcha.
that are in the car. So back then, we didn't have any money. We did the restorations ourselves. We cleaned them up ourselves. We did.
Yeah.
My father was tinkered on cars. My uncles were mechanics. We're always around cars. There was somebody had a really cool car, and it was was always the thing, right? So,
It sounds like you were always attracted to classics.
Oh, I love anything vintage.
Okay.
I think there's just so much character and history, when you look at an old car. And, I had a 79 Trans Am with shaker scoop on it, like the Bandit, except it was blue.
I love those, by the way.
Oh, I love those cars, man. Had T-tops on it that leaked all the time.
It's gorgeous. I think that in a restomod would be like where updated suspension and everything.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who's a drummer, and he did one. He did it himself.
That's
nice.
nice.
It was so good. He did a really, really good job on it, yeah. He did like that Pontiac white color with the blue.
I know it.
Yeah.
So you've been in the cars, since you were a kid?
Yeah, I've always loved cars. I mean, I think, there's not too many people we say, that it's one of the things I think a lot of us share in common. There's a lot of people that just love cars, especially if you look at something that's exotic, or something that's different and or tastefully done. The rest of the mods to me just have to be tastefully done.
Like Lucille.
Yeah, that's really done nice. That's a fun car.
What is this your favorite car that you've ever owned?
That's so hard, that question. Yeah. I mean, it's, now it is, right? Because I own it right now.
I know what you mean.
It just depends on the genre. It's like when people ask me, what's your favorite song? It's like, no, that's not a question.
Okay, I'm
give me context. What mood am I in?
I'm glad you said that, because when people, I'm a movie fanatic. Honestly, I'd like to become ridiculously wealthy so I could sit at home and watch movies all day. But
you need better goals.
I think that to me, as a kid, I did not understand how movie critics got paid. I'm like, these guys get paid to watch movies.
Right, yeah. The trash.
I think that's amazing. Yeah. But you said you need better goals. I'm normally the one taking a dig at the guest. Okay. You just hit me with one. So you said depends on what genre. So in the classic segment, right? And classic. This is a classic. Would this be your favorite?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Definitely. And it's an interesting evolution. Like I've had before this, I had a rotisserie restored 1967 Buick Skylark.
So I know what the Skylark is. I don't know what rotisserie restored is.
It's all frame restoration.
Okay.
The frame is on a rotisserie. It's true restomoded, brand new car when it's finished, right? So brand new engine, brand new suspension, 4-wheel disc brakes, Bluetooth connection, like everything in the car. It's similar to this.
Gotcha.
This is a 72-year-old car with a backup camera. Right? So
that is nuts.
Right? To me, you take a car like this where it has all of the really cool character and history, and then you give it all the modern accoutrements, and I think that's fuel injection. If I want to start it in January and drive, I don't have to sit and wait for it to warm up, and it's ready to go. So just like you start your car.
Okay.
That's a restomod. There's certain, obviously there's a lot to be said for restoring a car period correct. Mm-hmm. And I restore old buildings that way. And that's by far the most fun I have at work. I love that stuff.
Isn't that interesting, though? That it's funny how those worlds collide, right? And I'm sure, maybe you don't think about it, but maybe you do. Your company excels at doing historic restoration, or at least keeping the, within the guidelines of what it takes to. I'm pretty sure there are ordinances you have to follow.
Yeah, so the buildings that we restore are all on the National Preservation Society's historic list, and there's very, very strict guidelines for restoring them to period correct condition.
But the interior design.
Yeah. It's a brand new house. You go into this really cool old building that has tons of character, and there's components of the building that are salvaged period correct. And then you go into your apartment, and it have 14-foot high ceilings, air conditioning, Lutron systems, and window shades that go up and down.
Floor to ceiling windows.
Nuts. Yeah.
And that's That's your cars.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I never made the neurological association between the two things, but it's definitely there.
That's
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. You feel like you want to take this one home?
You actually sounded like a used car salesman.
Yeah. What do I need to do to get you in this vehicle today, sir?
Oh my God, man.
I know. We drive. We drive it as much as we can. And quite honestly, like I said, it acts and feels and drives like a new car. So we jump in it and go to the beach and take long drives and it's a pleasure to drive.
Yeah.
And if you're having a little.
Oh yeah, that's even better. Yeah. All right, so now I got my leg room. That I needed, and you could just sit back and chill, and you don't race this. You coast.
No, this is a cruiser. I mean, it's a 502 Ramjet, so if it's got to get out of its way, it will.
You can go.
It's not for that. It's a cruise, man.
So if you had to have, actually, I'm going to save that for a second. We spent a lot of time speaking about the classics. Are there any modern cars that you have had, or that you really like, or you're just you're a classic guy through and through, and that's where you are?
Modern, I don't know. I've had Porsches, I've had Mercedes, I've had really cool collectors like NSX.
Okay.
That was a cool car, mainly because you don't have to do anything to them. I mean,
right. It's a Honda.
It can weld the hood shut. So you don't have to do anything to that car.
You can weld the hood shut. We have this funny. We got this funny thing going over at Wheels and Wealth.
Yeah.
When we first started the channel, we were talking about my favorite cars and the best cars I've owned. It wasn't my favorite, but the best mechanical car from a mechanical standpoint. The best car I've ever owned was a 2003 Honda Accord.
It's probably somewhere running right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Probably still didn't need to change the oil yet.
There's nothing to do. Yeah.
But I was asked whether or not we'd have an Accord on the channel on Honda. I was like, absolutely not. That's not in the card, so that is hilarious.
Well, great cars, but I don't know if I'd watch a TV show about it.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either. But, okay, so you've had some modern cars, but it sounds like your heart is here.
Yeah, that car, the NSX was great. I mean, I've had Mercedes. My daily driver is a Roush Raptor. I drive a pickup truck, and I traded a pickup truck in for this pickup truck. So,
do you put tools in the bed just to feel like you're actually going to do something at work?
I put music gear in the back. I do. I play in a band, and I stuff the back of that thing with music gear and take that on.
So I'm guessing by that pick around your neck. I'm not guessing because I know, but I'm reminded by the pick around your neck that you're a guitarist.
I do. I play guitar.
Awesome.
And I have a great band and tons of friends that are musicians. And
what's the name of your band?
It's called Former Strangers.
Former Strangers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We met on Craigslist.
That's insane.
So.
How long have you guys?
Some of us did. Some of us didn't.
How long have you been together?
The band's been around 5 years, 6 years, maybe longer than that.
How long have you played guitar?
What's that?
How long have you played guitar?
Not long. So I started playing guitar when I was 40.
Okay.
So.
How old are you now, by the way? You said not long.
54.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. You look incredible, man.
Oh, thank you.
It's awesome.
Thank you. It's just camera.
Yeah. Well, that camera's going to class you up. Trust me.
Yeah.
Either that or it's going to find all your flaws.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to do that. It's going to do that. No, but I mean, they say, 10 years or 10,000 hours to master anything, right? But I was going through a pretty tough time in my life, and I gravitated towards playing guitar. And, I started playing guitar when I was 40, but I really dabbled in it. And then when I was around 45-ish, I really took a deep dive in it.
Wow.
And then there was times I would just spend hours and hours and hours playing. And then, again, I had surrounded myself with some great people who taught me a lot of stuff and tolerated me.
All about that team.
It is. Life's about a team. Life's about surrounding yourself with good people, man, It's hard to do anything without that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this self-made thing you talked about, you know. I think...
Listen, I didn't pull it out of thin air. People there's a lot of folks out there that say, hey, listen, I'm self-made, you know. And, you know, you look back on
It's
it.
a bold statement. I think you're self-made in the respect that you made the decision to do it.
Yeah.
You know, when you had the courage to do it. That, I don't take anything away from you. But if anybody really did an honest preview of their journey, they'd have to give credit to people around them.
Absolutely. So, as we put a wrapper on this, this is one of my favorite closing questions in our segment.
Here we go.
If you had to have any 3 vehicles.
Oh, wow.
Right now, if you could get any 3, what would they be?
Any 3 vehicles at all. 69 Charger.
Okay. What color?
Matte black. But I'd want that as a restomod.
Okay. I can imagine having to drive that and it wasn't a restomod. The suspension on that must be horrific.
But you know, whatever. I mean, you know, it wasn't that long ago. It was 69.
Okay. You can't include
that is
Lucille.
a really tough question. I can't have that one.
No.
So
No.
that one. You know, I look for that thing forever, man. I look for 20 years. I've been wanting that car.
I can't give you that in easy. Let's just say this is you've already got it.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's say it's already in the garage. You got space for 3 more. 69
so
Charger.
It's a Charger. It's probably an Eleanor. You know, it's a Mustang.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's just a hard car not to love, man.
Every time I see it, it is that design, especially in that color scheme. Something about that car, man. It's just you could drive it in a T-shirt. You could drive it in a suit.
You know, that's part of the reason why I'm not an exotics guy. I just don't. I appreciate the car. I mean, my God, right? They're beautiful, but it's just not something I would say. You know, I want to go. I'd go take that to Wawa, get coffee. You know, I can do that. That's such a tough question. You know, not to take it off track, but someone used to say, all of my music friends, right? We would ask the same question. Would say, you can see 3 acts, whether they're dead or alive.
Yeah.
Right? Who's your opener? Oh, I'm sorry, 3 things. 2 acts. Who's the opener? Who's the main event? And where's the venue?
That's a tough question.
It's so hard, right?
That's all right. You're 2/3 of the way through.
Okay.
By the way, what kind of music do you guys play?
We play everything from Led Zeppelin to Bruno Mars.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really diverse band. It's co-lead, female, male singer.
Wow.
1 guitar, keyboard, bass, drums. So we can pretty much touch on anything. And we do. So the number 1 compliment that I think the band gets is the diversity of the set list.
So you can play California Love Tupac then?
I don't know about that. I don't know the song, man. Let me hear it for 5 minutes.
Well, man. Yeah. All right, so we've got the
so
69 Charger. We've got the Eleanor
Mustang,
Mustang, which is a 67 Shelby GT500.
Yeah, I got a last one.
All right, let's go for it.
You know, it's a toss-up, right? I love old trucks.
Okay.
But I don't know if I only have 3,
yes.
I probably wouldn't get the truck.
Right.
Because first of all, someone would ask me to help move them.
Yeah, we started this at 5, and I said, you know, 3 is probably
5.
3 is probably the right number. No, we can't do 5. 3.
Yeah. So I would do. Geez, that's so hard, man. That's so ridiculously hard.
5, 4.
Yeah, I would do a 56 Chevy.
All right.
So 57 Chevy, I think, gets way too much love.
57 Chevy pickup, or we're talking about?
No, Bel Air.
Okay. Is there a big difference between the 56 and the 57 Bel Air?
There's some subtle differences, right?
Okay.
So the way that the tail end of the car looks is completely different, and I love the way a 56 is rounded over as opposed to the 57 Chevy has the fins that come up, right?
The fins, yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of that.
Interesting. So I think, I know that my boy Ron is a huge fan of the Bel Air.
What's not to love, right? But if I'm looking at both of those cars together, I would love the 50.
I don't know if it's a 56 or a 57, and now I have to Google it when we're done so I can see the difference. But I'm certain where I live, someone owns a Bel Air.
Yeah, you'd see a lot of them. But if I had to have only 3 cars, those are the cars I'd probably choose.
All restomoded?
I liken that to the camping story, right? People always want to go camping, and I'm like, as a species, we've evolved past that, right? We don't sleep outside anymore.
Okay.
So camping to me is a shitty hotel room, Yes, I would want. So I want the modern accoutrements, but I want the classic style of a car, just the same way we did this one, It's got everything I need if I want to connect my phone to it and make a call inside the car. Yeah, I'm good. But yeah, I don't think I would do any of them original. I have love for that. I just don't know if I would do it.
Yeah, I want to roll in it every day.
Yeah.
You were making an interesting point. I like to bounce back and forth
That's
between
okay.
the car stuff sometimes, but you're making an interesting point, and you were saying that about no one wanting to partner with you.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to be my partner. Before I was successful.
Right. Nobody was checking for you when you were in the basement.
Yeah, when I was working out of in a basement, nobody was lining up to be my partner.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, everybody wanted to be a partner. So, I think being choosing your partner is the value has to be consistent, and you have to create synergistic value, and I liken it to a band, individually, musicians could be great, but not as great as they are with those in that band, right? That's why it's a band. I watch, somebody go play with another group of people that sounds good, it's great, right?
Yeah.
But there's something about them when they play
Together.
with another group of people that makes it a band, right? And that's because there's a synergistic value that's being created there, that's making the sum of the parts greater than the whole.
Huh.
And that's what a partnership. That's the test of a partnership, And if it doesn't meet that test, pay for it first, right? Take the pain up front instead of trying to work your way out of a bad partner. I've had one bad partnership and it wasn't great. But we got through it. But it taught me a lot of lessons. So.
Bill, I got to tell you, today has really been truly intriguing. From your thoughts on, we hear all different types of style on this show, and today has been really, really a unique experience. Not just because of the vehicle. I don't know that I've ever seen a lead sled in person other than yours.
I think you could have had the car when I just talked about it.
No, but I think, from the car to just the content of your character to even the points that you've left us with today, on teamwork, on partnership, on entrepreneurship, really the wealth of you gave us a wealth of knowledge and allow us to live true to our name today, and we really appreciate that. It has been an extraordinary pleasure having you on board. Thank you.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you, man.
Absolutely.